Hello everyone, and thanks for stopping by to Scrap and Craft with Terry. Today we're going to try something different. I saw this on a couple different YouTube videos. Can't remember the first girl that I saw do it, but then I also saw Natasha at Treasure Books do it. So we're kind of following her video, and for me it was a little confusing how you put these envelopes together, but I have notes written all over them. So hopefully they go together good. So I hope you enjoy the video. If I get stumped along the way, well, I'll just stop and I'll figure it out and then we'll go on. So let's go ahead and get started. If you like my video, just give me a thumbs up and check out my other ones. So we're starting out with 4 legal size envelopes, and these are about 9.5 by 4 1/8. Now these are the self-seal ones, so I'll have to peel this off and you have to add glue all over your flap, so then I'll just add some more glue there also. Now, like I say, I have notes on all of them. So you start out with 2 envelopes, and you have to have your flaps to the center. Doesn't matter which envelopes you're doing, they have to have the flaps to the center. So this is my first envelope. And then I have add glue to this one, and this is number 1. So the number 1 envelope is going to go right down on this flap. And I have everything inked. So I'm going to take this off. And one of my envelopes, I'm going to have to add powder or something to it because the part that has the sticky on it is going to be exposed. So unless I add paper over it, but I didn't really want to add paper to the inside of any of these. I thought I would just leave them white. You just don't want to go over your score line or, your fold. Okay, so because we have to have our flap to the center, we're going to glue the back of this to the top of this flap. And I'm just going to lift this up a little bit to make sure I get it even. Now, when you get these all put together, they're going to come out a little bit, but really nothing that you can do about that. So you have a little bit of a gap there, which is only going to be normal. I didn't get them even. I don't know if I can get it apart because I'm using art glitter glue. I think I should use my Fabri-Tac. We're just going to kind of tear this one apart, and I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac. I think that will be better. So let me put the pen in, or the pin in this one, and get out my Fabri-Tac. And we'll try again. I should have known better when I got my art glitter glue out, because you don't get any time if you have to move it. I don't want them to be all cockeyed and everything. you know, let's turn it around this way, see if I can see a little bit better. I want that lined up with that edge and that lined up with that edge. And we'll just kind of fold that back and fold that down. And I think that was better. I think they're more even now. But like I say, it's going to come out a little bit on the edge, and there's nothing that you can do about that. Now we have, so this was our first envelope, this was our second envelope. So now we're going to take number 3, and we have to have this tab to the inside. So we're just going to turn this upside down and glue this to here. Or am I going to, no, I'm going to turn this upside down this way. Our flap is to the center because we have to put the glue where the thing is. And we're going to glue that on there. So I'm going to take this off. So now you don't have to have these self-seal envelopes because you're really not using that part of it. And I hope that I'm getting all of this in the camera view. Now you can use different color envelopes if you want. That's what Natasha did. She used real pretty brown ones. But I have white ones, so that's what I'm using. So we're going to even that up as best as we can. And fold that back and fold it down. So we have this so far. Now we have a flap here. And this is add this to the flap on number 3. So I'm going to turn this over this way. I have add to number 4, and I have glue this to number 4. So we're going to glue this like this. You can't imagine how many times I sat and put these envelopes together and paper clipped them together, and quite a few times I had them put together wrong. All right, so now we have our flap down and it's to the center. So we're just going to line these up. Just line these up, fold this up, and fold this back. Thinking that's not good. Let's peel this up real quick. That's better. Now we'll fold that over. Now we have one flap left. And this is the one that has the sticky part on it. And this one, add this flap to the inside of number 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide this under here. And I can't have that sticky stuff. So I think I'm going to get me some baby powder. And I'm going to take this off and I'm going to put baby powder on it, because that'll take that stickiness away. So give me a couple seconds. Okay, now, so for anyone that's new, that doesn't know the little trick, if you have sticky stuff from an envelope or that, you use baby powder, and the baby powder will take the stickiness out of it. So that's all you have to do. And then just wipe it off a little bit. So we're going to stick this under here. Stick this in this pocket. And that's that. Now, one tip that Natasha did give is when you have your envelopes or your pockets like this, you know, you can stick your coupons and that in, take them out, stick them in and take them out. But she said after a while, you know, if you pull on them, then you're putting pressure on your envelopes. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, the little thing that comes out on the envelope, let me see. I don't have one of them up here, but I have an envelope. Hang on a minute. And I had to grab one because the envelope that was up here is not made like this. This little part right here, I cut off on all of my envelopes on both sides. That makes this straight, and then you don't have to contend with this thing too. But when you do that, you have to make sure that you glue down these flaps so they're not sticking up in the air, okay? Sorry if I keep pausing. But anyway, we'll look at the book and then I'll tell you what she said. So we flip it open and we have a pocket here. We have a full page here. We have a pocket and a pocket. We have a full page here and a pocket, and then our back page. So she said, when you're putting receipts or whatever in, like if you use this when you go shopping or you're Christmas shopping or you're keeping track of your bills, when you're pulling on this, you're putting pressure on your envelopes. So she said that you can cut the top of your envelope off and just a little tiny bit, and then you have this flap open so your stuff just slides in and out. Now you can do that, or you can leave it closed. I don't know if I want to open it or if I want to close it. This little pile's a little thicker. But I'm thinking on this one I'm going to leave my flaps closed. But you can cut them if you know how when you're doing something with your envelope and you just barely cut the top off just to open the end. You can do that. Now, if you do that, if you cut the top off of your envelope, then this flap that you put under, you're going to have to glue it down. Because then, when you're sliding stuff in and out, that flap is going to be in the way. Now, when you get ready to put that in there, if you want, you can add a little bit of glue to it, and that would just hold it down. So maybe I should just add a little tiny bit of glue. Almost kind of afraid to, because whenever I do, I always mess it up. But I'll just add a little along the edge here, because I don't want it to come out. So we'll just hurry up and slide this in there. Fold this over and slide that in. And then we'll glue that right down. Now we don't have to worry about that flap. Now all I'm going to do is go ahead and start decorating it. But you can carry this in your purse. If you don't want to use it for something like that, you can always sew this into your journal. It can be an insert. You would want to use an envelope that's the size of your journal. And then you would just, you know, I would sew it in the center. You would just sew it into your journal. And then you would have pockets for big tags or anything like that. And that would be cool in a journal also. Like I say, you would want to do it the size of your pages. So this is going to be our first page. Even though I had different numbers on here, now we're just doing our book. So we're going to start at the front. So I chose this as my top, my pages for like my full page. And then I have this page where it's a little bit smaller. On my full pages, I'm going to put this on. And you can use whatever glue you want. You can use glue stick if you want. Any kind of liquid glue or your tapes or anything like that. I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac because I can move it around a little bit and it doesn't make my paper wavy. Now hopefully I got that straight enough. It's not going to be perfect and it doesn't have to be perfect. I like this. It looks like a wood grain. Then I have this to put over top of it. And when I cut my papers, I just left a little bit of a border. And I inked around everything just a little bit with Vintage Photo. You can ink or you don't have to. Hopefully you're seeing everything that I'm doing. And then I'm just going to try to put this in the center. Now we're going to go to number 2. And this is going a lot smoother than what I thought it was. So now for my first one, I cut it at like 4 inches wide. The ones with the pockets in are about 3 5/8 wide. And then I did them just a little bit shorter than my envelope. So you just have to measure and figure out how you like it to look. Okay, so that'll just sit like that. And I inked these, I inked the edge of the envelope. If you're using them for your receipts, like Christmas time, birthday time, anything like that, you know, make it look festive. You can even use it when you go grocery shopping. And I think these two papers go very good together. I like them. Should have done this on my other page. Make sure it's good and flat. Okay, now we're going to have a little pocket. Even though we have a pocket here, we want to add some tags. So I just made a little pocket out of the front cover paper. Some of this stuff I could use my my art glitter glue. And then, because I'm not going to decorate these pockets up, I just took a piece of this paper and I'm just going to put it across the pockets. For these things, I'm going to use my art glitter glue. And for my tag, I just cut, I have little printables. They're like little squares with flowers on them. So I'm going to use them on my tags. Now, in my other tags, I already punched the holes. I wasn't sure what I was going to put in these, and I really didn't need such a big hole because I'm just going to use this twine. But what are you going to do? Now you can put eyelets in these. You can do them paper savers, the hole savers. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here to keep this from coming untied, because I like to do that. And when you figure out how long you want your tie, if you're using the twine, you can just add a little bit of glue to the end of each one, or you can knot it. And that'll keep it from coming, unfraying. But we're just going to add a little glue. It's all stringy and everything. I think when I play with glue, I get as much glue on me as I do on the paper or the strings. And then this is just going to sit down in here. Is that all the lower it's going to go? Maybe. All right. Now up here, I have this. It's the little things, and I have a little butterfly. And we're just going to put them up there. I'm going to have this down just a little bit. I like these colors on the background. Yeah, I guess that does stick up quite a bit. So that's that page. Now on this page, we're going to have a little notepad. And I forgot to put cardboard on the back of it. So I think it'll be okay hanging by the paper. knew I had to do it, and then I put it together, and as soon as I glued the top on, I thought, oh, I did it wrong. But I think it'll be okay. So every other page is going to be this paper, because we're covering up our flaps for our envelopes. So you're not even seeing them. Then I'm just going to do the belly band type thing where it's going to sit on here, and this is just going to slide down into here. And I'm pretty sure I put 10 pieces of paper. So I'm just going to leave this hooked like this, and I'm barely going to go to the outer edge, and then I'll be able to see how far up I want my paper. And I think right about there will be good. That's kind of even. And I just put the little, the paper that matches here, I just put on the back here. And then I put a little bit of lace across it. So that's that page. And when we get to this page, I already have my tags done. So I have to do is glue this on. And for this one, I made a little side angle pocket. I'm only going to glue down the two sides. I was just trying to use my scraps. And again, I just put the little strip across here. I'm thinking that I'm in view, you can see that. And I'm just going to put this little butterfly up here, and I have two little tags to go in here. And I have two because these are leftovers. So let's see. I have to add my twine. So I think I want my butterfly somewhere around in there. And that's all I'm going to add. I'm not going to add anything else with this butterfly. He's going to fly alone. And you could put taller tags in here. So I just have to put my twine in these two. And I'll put my glue like I did. Okay. And we'll put these back in. So we have two pockets in there. Now on this page, it's going to be another one of the blue striped ones. must have cut a little more off right there than I was supposed to, but that's okay. We won't tell nobody. Now I'm going to put like a side pocket, a side tuck pocket. Well, that's not the pocket, that's the tag. I'm going to put a side tuck pocket. And I thought about putting a narrow strip of this down there, but it made too much blue on the page. So I just glued this flower thing on here. And I rounded, which corner did I round? Well, that's the way the flowers are going, so I guess I rounded the back corners. Generally, I round the front corners. Maybe I'll just round both. Where did it go? Because I like my front corners rounded. And then I'll just touch that up. Now I'm just knocking stuff over back there. Okay, now we have both corners rounded, whether they should have been or not. So I'm just going to do down this side, across the back, and down the bottom. Make sure I do the right one. I don't want it upside down. And then I'm just going to put that out to the edge. Now there's a little bit of a border up there and a little bit of a border down here because that's how long the piece of paper was. And then I just made a tag out of this strip, put a piece of lace on it, and that's going to sit right in there. Pretty cool, huh? And then you have double pockets in this part. So now I'm just going to go ahead and glue this on here. I'm going to glue this on here, and I'll glue the back on. Then I'll come back and do the pocket. Okay, be right back. Okay, now we'll do our pocket. So I did this page, just put this on here. This is one of our big pockets. And I did the back page. Now we'll do our little pocket. And I figured the little pockets would be like if you just want to write a little note, a little reminder or something, then you would have a little pocket for that. And then our tag will go in there, and I just put this flower on the tag, and these are white so you can right on the back of them. So that'll go there. Then I have another white butterfly and cherish today, and I'm just going to glue this right on like that. And then this little guy here will have to have some antennas. And then he can just sit up there like that. And then we'll put our tag in. So then I'm just using this notebook paper as a, for instance, for, you know, your receipts. Generally receipts aren't that wide. So we have this page, and you know, these envelopes open pretty good, so you can fit quite a bit in there. And then we would have receipts in this page, or you know, anything that you have to keep track, records or anything like that. And you can put them in there. And then if you have something that you need to write down, you have your notepad. And it lays down pretty flat. So if you thought if you was going to carry it with you in a bag and you wanted to keep it closed, you could add like a thing to come around the front. If I would have thought of that, could have went underneath like a little piece of paper underneath and around and slid under here. Otherwise, you know, we can just tie a pretty bow around it. I'm not going to wrap it around. I'm just going to tie it instead of wrapping it around 2 or 3 times. Like if you're in your purse or you're getting something out of your purse, why would you want to mess around that many times? And then that would hold it shut. So what do you think about this? I think it turned out really nice. Turned out a lot better than I thought maybe it might have. I think it's a pretty good project. So if any of you try it, let me know how it turns out. So that's my video for today. And I hope you come back to see me for my next one. And if you liked this, give me a thumbs up and let me know what you think. So until the next time, everyone, have a wonderful day and happy crafting. Bye for now.